So the trust started out as part of a Maori Affairs land work scheme about 35 years ago, but as a trust we've been operating for just under 35 years. I think there were several reasons for the establishment of the trust. I think the trust, principally the peninsula was a dairy farming area, and as Tauranga City started to spread out, they were reluctant to have cows in their neighbourhood, so we needed to look at an alternative. Our problem really was twofold: what would we do and how would we stop urban sprawl happening and taking a chunk of our land away into becoming residential land blocks. We were very afraid of the loss of our land, and so great tīpunas, grandparents, great-grandparents, they got together and they decided to form the Ngai Tukairangi No. 2 orchard block to try and combine the land to keep it under Māori ownership. I think I'm the longest serving chairman now. This is my 11th year I'm going into. In kiwifruit, I would say that we've got probably 4 blocks, or what we would call 4 orchards in Matapihi, although we operate it all under the Matapihi collective group of which is Ngai Tukairangi Trust. We also have an orchard in Te Pokai, down No. 3 Road, and we have 5 orchards down in Hawke's Bay, but we combine those together and we call those Ngai Tukairangi Heretonga.
I've been involved with the trust nearly 35 years. Initially as assistant manager for a couple of years, but as manager and general manager ever since. We're looking at about 1.6 million trays of kiwifruit, which is split between our Matapihi operation and our Hawke's Bay operation. We have about 25 staff split between here and Hawke's Bay, and then of course we have casuals. At the moment we've got an extra 15 or so casuals here at Matapihi, and then we use the contractors as well. And both operations use a lot of contractors, especially during the spring and early summer period, where we can have up to 200 extra contract staff. All our fruit at the moment, both here in Matapihi and Hawke's Bay, goes to Sika. Sika is the second largest post-harvest facility. So quite a bit of our fruit here at Matapihi goes to Hukapak, Te Aunui Hukapak, which is one of the Sika sheds, but it can go to other Sika sheds as well. And then the fruit from Hawke's Bay also is trucked up to the Bay of Plenty and it's packed into Pokai. We are a large grower, and in some ways we're sort of corporatising ourselves because of the large operation that we're running here. So we want to be a very good employer. We're focusing on the people here on the orchard and how we can get good people and retain them, and get experience in our gangs. It's a very difficult time at the moment for the industry. There's labour shortages, and so the emphasis really is on people management.
Bill Hiamoe and I were looking at different investments to make. Wiparera, Mr. Chairman, I used to call him, wherever we went. Without him, I think we may have gone backwards. It's huge, the progress that they've made, especially the younger ones that are on the trust now. Even for this port, the port of Tauranga, they're just the biggest port in regards to shipping the kiwifruit out. So Tauranga port has become the biggest port in New Zealand.
So in the main, Ngai Tukairangi Trust has the bulk of the whenua at Matapihi, and it's really great to see, and I hope it stays that way. It's a bit of a worry when we see plans for the next 20, 30 years and you see an orange highway going through Matapihi. So the young ones coming through, you need to make sure that our tūpuna, our rangatira's dreams of keeping green Matapihi continue.
Back in the late 90s, 1990s, it's hard to believe one of our strategic goals was to reach 8 million, an asset base of 8 million, and now it's in excess of 100 million. The most memorable achievement for the trust is, as I remember when I was a trustee, was was the purchase of the Grey Street building, which they still have. I remember us sitting at the table at Hukapak. The negotiations were taking place over the phone. John Burke had given us what he thought was the price, and yeah, during our meeting then there was ringing backwards and forwards. I don't think we had speakerphone back then, so you had to speak and tell us, and then there was a bit of toing and froing, and it was, yes, we've got it. I can't even remember the figure. It may have been 1.2 million or something. Not sure now, but anyway, that was the most memorable moment for me.
I was elected onto the Ngai Tukairangi Trust in the early 2000s. I think it was either late 2000 or early 2001. I was 29 years old and I replaced one of the trustees that was coming up for re-election. So I've been on board now for nearly 20 years. Ngai Tukairangi Trust core business is kiwifruit. We're leaders in the industry on behalf of Māori. We're leaders in the industry across the country and also globally. We also have other ventures that we're looking into. However, if we return back to what we do best, we do kiwifruit best. Our complexity in terms of the things that we do too. We've got more shares, we've got more operations, and we've also got a subsidiary that looks at non-horticulture investments. So we've advanced and progressed extensively since we initially started. Having said that, if we didn't have the foresight of the original trustees and the owners back at that time, we wouldn't be here today. They went the dividends for over 20 years so that we could get the capital for the land trust development, and that gift, if you like, to all of us collectively has been the money that has helped us get where we are today.